Not a cloud in the sky. Omar Bolden will drop back. That's Sean Sweezum, who will kick off for the Steelers.
And now you just wonder, will they come right out with the no-huddle offense? We've talked to several of the Broncos players. It's hot tonight. Of course, you got the thin air, your opening night, where a lot of times you're not in the absolute best shape that you could be in. Will Peyton come out attacking from the first play?
He might come out on the 20-yard line because most of the kickoffs in this stadium at 5,280 feet wind up as touchbacks. Last season, 80% of the kickoffs, excluding onside kicks, wound up as touchbacks. Now here we go from Denver, Colorado, into the stands. And so here comes Manning now. For the first time since he was at the University of Tennessee in 1997, wearing a different uniform. At least it's orange. Hasn't played since a wild card game against the New York Jets following the 2010 season. The 4 neck procedures, and away we go with the Manning era in Denver. Willis McGahee is his running back. And Manning's first play is a simple handoff, and McGahee picks up 5 as he takes it up to the 25-yard line, tackled there by Ike Taylor. Peyton visited Denver. He visited Arizona and Tennessee. And then the 49ers and Dolphins visited him. And a lot had to do with the fact that John Elway is here running the show in Denver, which brings him to the Rocky Mountains. From the gun now. On 2nd and 5. Manning's first pass as a Bronco. Right on the money to Eric Decker. And a first down up to the 38-yard line. Decker and Thomas are his key wideouts, and also Brandon Stokely has come aboard as well, his former teammate from Indy.
The thing that stuck out to me most was watching the protection of the Denver Broncos. They have been almost perfect during the course of preseason, and you should see them practice it, going over every little detail. And you knew the Steelers were going to come test them early. First one they answered correctly.
It's like they're guarding a museum piece.
No doubt.
Here's a fullback. That's Chris Gronkowski. And a gain of 3 for McGahee. And let's take a look at the Broncos starters.
Peyton Manning, University of Tennessee.
Willis McGahee, Miami.
Demarius Thomas, Georgia Tech.
Eric Decker, Minnesota.
Joel Dreesen, Colorado State.
Jacob Tamme, Kentucky.
Ryan Clady, Boise State.
Zane Beadles, Utah. Go Utes.
J.D. Walton, Baylor. Manny Ramirez, Texas Tech.
Orlando Franklin, the U, by way of Toronto, Canada.
And Tamme provides another link to the past. Played with him with the Colts a couple of years back. On 2nd down and 7 now. Manning from the pocket throws into a lot of traffic. Tried to jam it in there to Dreesen, who gets double covered. And the pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Dreesen coming over from the Texans.
Well, one of the problems with safety Ryan Clark being out is you end up seeing Troy Polamalu in a lot more deep coverage. It actually got him in trouble in the playoff game because he's a guy that is so dynamic and makes big plays. He wants to attack. He wants to make interceptions. And sometimes just sitting back and being the free safety can be a bit of a struggle. That's much more of Ryan Clark's sort of role with this team.
3rd down and 7 now. Manning with time again, slides left and completes it, and that's Brandon Stokely in his 14th season. Taken down by Cortez Allen, and the Broncos have back-to-back first downs.
Well, Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator, is trying to bring the pressure. Look at all the guys. They're coming right up the middle and trying to get Peyton a little happy feet going. But Brandon Stokely on the outside now, they have been doing this for a long, long time. Isn't it amazing how they can just keep doing it, sort of like Johnny Unitas and Raymond Berry. They almost know what the other one's thinking out there.
Timeless. From the 50 now. And here comes the blitz. That was Polamalu coming in. and overrunning the blocking, but Marino has no place to go. He's the backup back, #1 draft choice from Georgia in '09, but McGahee's #1. Marino, coming off an ACL tear, is #2.
Well, you knew he wasn't going to sit back for very long. Here comes Troy Polamalu, and Stokely may have saved the day, at least from a fumble or a huge collision in the backfield. But when you talk to Dick LeBeau, he said, listen, you cannot sit back and just wait on Peyton Manning. He'll pick you apart. You have to take your shots or the ball's going in the end zone.
Second and 10 on the opening drive. Blitz coming again. Flag thrown. First of the game, and the pass is dropped by Demaryius Thomas, who made that catch for 80 yards and a touchdown in the overtime game to beat Pittsburgh in January. Taylor covering, first penalty of the game. Still the replacement officials, Gerald Wright, who's done a lot of officiating in his career, several conferences, even going back to the old Western Athletic Conference, a retired insurance salesman from Albuquerque.
Legal formation on the offense. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Mike McCoy is the offensive coordinator for so many years. We were used to seeing Tom Moore on the sidelines at Indianapolis, sending in, as Tom used to say, concepts. And so McCoy, with part of his system and part of what Peyton feels comfortable in, on the headset to Manning, calling the plays into Peyton's helmet. Moreno stays in the backfield. On 3rd and 10. And Manning will get swallowed up, and that's Larry Foote, number 50, who's been around a long time, 11th year out of Michigan, who gets the sack, and it's 4th down.
Well, that time it's no Sean Marino who misses the block. They really had this thing protected pretty well. One-on-one pass protection. He just lowered his head, and that was what cost him. And this is going to sound strange, Al, but sometimes as a quarterback or as a player in the NFL, getting hit for the first time actually is a positive thing because it settles you down a bit.
Britton Colquitt is the kicker. Antonio Brown, who had a fantastic year, not only receiving but running back kickoffs and punts. He was the team MVP, and Brown this time stumbles and can't get out of his own way. And the Broncos knock him down at around the 10-yard line. Meanwhile, Ben Roethlisberger is also in the game. We'll see him next. Mendenhall is out, so Redmond is the running back, and here goes Ben Roethlisberger starting his season with a handoff to Redmond, who had a pretty good day here in the playoff game last year after Mendenhall had suffered his knee injury, and he's still recovering from that. So here is Roethlisberger, and the big question is, as Chris talked about it at the top, with Todd Haley coming in and Bruce Arians being let go, and now in Indianapolis, there is last year's head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and before that at Arizona. He's got a temper, and as Roethlisberger said, he's the only guy that could make Kurt Warner curse. 2nd and 7. Redmond to the outside, turns it up, penalty to the 17-yard line. Steelers were right run dominant last year, so this time they go to the left. Want to become more balanced in that regard.
83 offense. Previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
And Heath Miller doesn't like the call, a long-time tight end, 8th year out of Virginia.
We've got Heath Miller working on Von Miller right here. And Von Miller, just an outstanding rookie a season ago, 11.5 sacks, and that's going to be a battle all night. They're going to provide extra help on the edges for their tackles because two of the best pass rushers in the league in this game for Denver, not only Von Miller, but Elvis Dumervil.
Broncos a very healthy team coming in. Not so the Steelers, of course, with Clark out, Harrison out, and Mendenhall out. 2nd and 15 from the 6. And they're on a draw. And this is Redmond, who'll get taken down from behind by Derek Wolfe, their top draft choice out of Cincinnati. Let's meet the Steelers.
Ben Roethlisberger, Miami University.
Isaac Redman, Bowie State.
Will Johnson, West Virginia.
Mike Wallace, Old Perry Walker High School.
Antonio Brown, Central Michigan.
Heath Miller, Virginia.
Max Starks, Florida Gators.
Willie Colon, Hofstra University.
Marquise Pouncey, Florida. Ramon Foster, Tennessee. Marcus Gilbert, University of Florida.
It's 3rd down and 14 now. From the 6, with the stadium shaking, Roethlisberger throws and is able to slip it in there to Mike Wallace between 2 defenders. Wallace held out through all of camp, just showed up last week, hasn't practiced very much, didn't play in a preseason game, and he's very close to a 1st down.
Mike Wallace wasn't touched initially, I don't think. And so he got to get up, but he still was tackled by Tracy Porter, who came over from the Saints before he was able to pick up the 1st down, it appeared.
And they will bring in the chain gang right now.
For Mike Wallace, this is a new offense, new terminology. He's really only been practicing for a week, and because of all the crowd noise, they were concerned, would he know all the hand signals and such that goes with a game like this?
And he's going to be a couple of links short of the 1st down. And as much as that offense would like to go for it, Mike Tomlin knows a little bit better. You're not going to give Manning the ball at around the 20-yard line. So now you've got Drew Butler coming in to kick. He is a rookie punter out of Georgia, and the former Jet Jim Leonard is back there to receive it. So this will be Butler's first NFL kick. His father, Kevin, was the place kicker. You'll recall him with the Chicago Bears between the mid-'80s and the mid-'90s. In fact, Butler won a Super Bowl ring, his dad did, with the fabled '85 Bears, and then ended his career with the Arizona Cardinals. Nice place to make a debut as a punter at 5,280 feet.
Why not? Get that average up around 60.
Right. And call it a career. And the kick is a low line drive, and Leonard takes it back at the 28-yard line, looking for room around the outside. And down he goes at the 40-yard line. Jason Worrells makes the tackle. Manning out for the 2nd Broncos series. Manning, who starts the game 2 of 4 for 22 yards, 1st down at the 40 with McGahee the running back. McGahee swinging to the outside. Gain of 4 up to the 44, tackled by Foot.
Al, you can do this as well as I can. You've seen him throw as many balls, maybe more than I have, and he just kind of looks the same. There was a play against the San Francisco 49ers in preseason in which he released one. Paris Harrelson just absolutely drilled him, completed a long ball down the field, and that was kind of the moment that you got the feeling that he is back. You know, whether or not he's really sharp at this point, you don't know, but he's capable.
2nd down and 6, and that pass is caught on the outside by Thomas, and Thomas is able to slip the initial tackle. Steps away from Lewis. It'll be 3rd and short. Let's take a look at the defense.
Ziggy Hood, Missouri.
Casey Hampton, Texas.
Brett Kiesel, Grable High School. Go Buffs.
Lamar Woodley, University of Michigan.
Larry Foote, Michigan.
Lawrence Timmons, Florida State.
Chris Carter, Fresno State.
Keenan Lewis, Old Perry Walker High School.
Troy Polamalu, University of Southern California.
Ryan Mundy, Woodland Hills High School.
Ike T. Swagger University.
The Pittsburgh D, #1 last year. And #1 against the run, and there's a fumble, and it winds up in the hands of the Steelers. So on a 3rd down and 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers come up with the football as Lamar Woodley is the beneficiary of the fumble.
Yep. Troy Polamalu got the inside push initially right here, but then I think it's Larry Foote, number 50, who comes around and really just sort of flails at the football and knocks it out. You can see him almost backhanded out of there. Just got it right on the ball. Here he is, back turn, just going to throw his body back at it, and out comes the ball. So this was a very good team running the football a season ago. Willis McGahee, almost 1,200 yards rushing, but Troy Polamalu disrupts a lot of things, especially in goal line and short yardage.
McGahee had 4 fumbles last year. The Steelers, amazingly, with only 15 all season takeaways, fewest in the league. So they get it at the 47 now. And they'll start with Redmond taking the ball to the 44. And let's take a look at the Denver defense.
Derek Wolf, Cincinnati.
Ty Warren, the real Texas A&M.
Justin Bannon, Colorado.
Elvis Dumerville, University of Louisville.
Von Miller, Texas A&M.
Joe Mays, North Dakota State.
Wesley Woodyard, Kentucky.
Champ Bailey, University of Georgia.
Mike Adams, Delaware Blue Hens.
Raheem the Dream Moore, UCLA.
Tracy Porter, Indiana.
Porter intercepted Manning in the Super Bowl a couple of years back. You look at Champ Bailey, you saw him introduce himself, 14th year, 11 Pro Bowls. This is Chris Rainey wearing Weldy Moore's old number, and the rookie gets taken down by Wesley Woodyard. Rainey is a rookie out of the University of Florida. That'll set up a 3rd down and 9.
Well, Wesley Woodyard's getting a chance to play because DJ Williams is suspended. He comes right out of this side over here. Going to chase it all the way across. He's been their leading special teams tackler for a number of years around here, and his speed certainly adds an element. This Broncos defense looks better to me, and they've made some additions over what they were a year ago.
Jack Del Rio is the new defensive coordinator after Dennis Allen had guided that unit last year and got the head coaching job with the Raiders. Play clock is down to 1. And they barely get it off, and the pass is caught, and that will be Emmanuel Sanders for a 1st down. So much ground and pound through the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but right now, of course, with Antonio Brown and Mike Wallace and Emmanuel Sanders and the tight end Heath Miller, they love to put it up.
Well, they've got a zone blitz going, and they're going to try and bring somebody, Mike Adams, out across the way to get into that hook zone, and he just couldn't get there. He got caught up on the inside receiver, Heath Miller, couldn't get over the top, and the Pittsburgh Steelers pick up a big 1st down.
Off a 3rd down and 9. Now Redmond is back in the game from the 33. They'll be shuttling the running backs tonight. Redmond, Dwyer, and Rainey. Stretch play. Going nowhere. Read perfectly in a swarming defense. Von Miller, number 58, is there, and then Porter finishes him off for a loss of 5.
It's so interesting. Leonard Pope thought he had a good block on this one right here on Von Miller. He got him to the outside edge, just let him go by inside. But Von Miller is just so incredibly quick and strong. We were talking to John Fox. He said, I have never had one like this guy. He said when he comes off the edge, of course, you got to deal with his speed all the time. But then all of a sudden he rocks down and blows up tackles right back into the quarterback. They really think they've got a superstar there.
Oxygen for Polamalu. They thought so much of Miller out of school. He was the 2nd overall pick in the draft, behind only Cam Newton 2 years ago. On 2nd and 15. Running it again over left guard, and Redmond going next to nowhere. Setting up a 3rd down and long with a little over 4 minutes to play in the quarter. So Jack Del Rio had been the coach at Jacksonville for 9 years. Before that, he was with John Fox at Carolina as an assistant, helped him get the job with the Jaguars, got fired last year. Then when Dennis Allen got the job in Oakland, the call went out to Del Rio to come here. Third down and 12. And Roethlisberger has to slide away and get sacked. Derek Wolfe, the rookie out of Cincinnati. They didn't have a 1st-round pick. He got picked in the 2nd round. He was their number 1 choice, and he can mark it down. His 1st sack ever, Ben Roethlisberger in prime time.
Boy, are they going to be happy with this one. A little cross inside with the 2 tackles. And Derek Wolfe, who is as much a run player, but when you watched him on tape coming out of the University of Cincinnati, the thing that impressed you most was just how tenacious the guy was. He never gave up on a play, always hustling, and they really needed some help inside.
Denver. That's our first charge.
Denver takes a timeout before a 4th down for Pittsburgh. as the Steelers will punt, and Butler will try to down it inside the 5, and that is a beauty at the 1-yard line. Down there by DeMarcus Van Dyke. Great punt by the rookie from Georgia. John Elway, shirt and tie, Executive Vice President, Football Operations for the Broncos. Pat Bowlen giving him the keys a couple of years back, and very instrumental, obviously, in getting Manning here in those last 2 years for John. 97 and 98, they won the Super Bowl.
Careful right out here, Troy Polamalu. He makes a lot of plays.
From the 1-yard line, looking for breathing space. And this is McGahee, whose fumble gave Pittsburgh the ball, but they were only able to net 2 yards total to the 3-yard line. Remember, McGahee was a great star in college, suffered a really gruesome injury in his last college game for the University of Miami. Nonetheless, Buffalo picked him in the first round, sat out that first year, and then 3 years with them, went to Baltimore, was their starting back for 2 years, and then he backed up Ray Rice and then came here. So here is Willis McGahee, 10th year out of the University of Miami, and still going very strong in his 30s. 2nd and 8. It will be 3rd down and 6.
Well, welcome back, Casey Hampton, the big nose tackle. He missed all of preseason, and he is a guy that you're just not going to move him. You know, I was talking to him on the field before the game, and I said, can you go 2 plays in a row, because he hasn't had a lot of practice. He said 2 plays is no problem. I just hate running to the sideline and back.
Now 3rd and 6. Moreno flanking Manning in the backfield. From the end zone, Manning stepping into it and converts, and Stokely breaks a tackle to the 21-yard line, where he's finally hauled down by Polamalu.
Only Donald Driver is older than Brandon Stokely playing wide receiver in the NFL, and you can just tell where Peyton Manning wants to go. Number 14's out there. I'm backed up in my end zone. He's going to break a tackle and pick up a 1st down, and that is a big one to get him out of a hole.
Getting away from Cortez Allen would have had the 1st down anyway. The ball's at the 22-yard line. Numbers for Manning right there, 6 for 44. Final minute, opening quarter. Fake handoff, and then he, with a flag down, gets sacked by Jason Worrells. So the fake inside handoff, Worrells comes in off the edge, and we'll see about the call here. And of course, it will be declined if it's against Denver.
Illegal formation, offense. Players were covered up on the line of scrimmage. That penalty's declined. 2nd down.
That mistake's on Peyton Manning. He was sliding his protection away. His back came to this side. They're all going this way, but they came up one short. And as a quarterback, you have to know when you don't have that backside protected. He just missed it. That's something that Peyton Manning probably wouldn't miss in midseason. Maybe still shaking off a little rust.
8-yard sack. Manning's gone down twice in the quarter. 2nd and 18. Moreno is the back. 3 receivers set to the left side. They go 3 by 1. They give it to Moreno. He slips a tackle in the backfield. Foot couldn't make the tackle in the backfield, but they stop him shortly thereafter, and that's going to take us to the end of the quarter, unless the Broncos, and here they go, the Broncos go to the line without a huddle, get the play off, going deep and incomplete. Thomas was there, the coverage was there as well. The Bronco bench wants interference, and the clock is stopped with 5 seconds with no flag on a 4th down and 17.
And Peyton's saying that he was not off the field. They took a quick snap. One of the Steelers was running off the field, and Peyton was pointing right in that direction, saying he did not get off the field. That should have been a free 5 yards for us.
But no flag, and thus They try to catch the Steelers with too many men on the field, don't get the call, and now the quarter will end after the punt here. Antonio Brown from the 40 gets a block on the outside, and Brown returning the ball past midfield. And that will be the end of the first quarter with no score in Denver. Sunday Night Football back after these messages.
The quarterback from Tennessee, number 18, Peyton Manning.
Start the second quarter. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya in Denver. And Roethlisberger will hand it to Brown on an end around. And Brown will take the ball to the 35-yard line. And let's go back to Manning trying to catch the Steelers defense with an extra man on the field.
Well, actually, he did. Watch this action right over here. You'll see Steve McClendon right there just jogging his way off the field. He's right in front of one of the officials, but the official had his back turned to Peyton Manning, probably couldn't see the ball was snapped at that point, so he couldn't make the call.
And just to clear it up in terms of the rules, that was a challengeable play. Had they decided to challenge it, but it still would have made it 3rd down and 12. They were coming off a 3rd and 17, would have been a 5-yard penalty. And this is Jonathan Dwyer breaking tackles, and Porter still can't get him down and got him by the face mask, and that's going to cost them extra yardage on a great run by Dwyer, 3rd-year back out of Georgia Tech, 6th-round pick in 2010 in his first carry of the season here.
Unbelievable. Justin Bannon had him dead to rights and just couldn't hang on.
Holding, 17 offense. 10-yard penalty, spotted a foul. Replay, 2nd down.
Instead, it's on Wallace. Looked like they might have gotten a face mask on the other end. Instead, Wallace with the hold to negate the big gain here.
All right, Mike Wallace right up here. Yeah, I'd say that's a hold. Negates a heck of a play here. Justin Bannon had Dwyer wrapped up in the backfield and just couldn't hold on. But I will say one thing about the Denver Broncos with some of the additions they've made now. Derek Wolfe and Ty Warren getting back and healthy. Justin Bannon in there. Even Robert Ayers, a good run player. This team was horrendous a year ago against the run. Just left gaping holes for middle linebacker Joe Mays to try and make plays in there. Tonight, they've been better.
A foul from the spot. That's going to make it 2nd and 5. It's Miller coming in motion, now out of the slot. And the pass goes to the other side, and that is caught by Will Johnson. The Steelers this year using a fullback, and Bruce Arians always used to tell us when he was the offensive coordinator to go around town and people would scream at him, get a fullback.
Well, they got a fullback, but they were kind of lucky. David Johnson was sort of their fullback tight end, and this Will Johnson was at a workout with somebody else that they were going to see. Ends up he's timed in the 40, he's under 4.5, and I go, holy cow, let's sign him. And Mike Tomlin said a lot of people are going to take credit for Will Johnson, but it was just luck.
From the 21-yard line. Roethlisberger shoots it to the outside. The flag is thrown. Heath Miller, who does the same types of things for Pittsburgh that Jason Witten has done for years for the Dallas Cowboys. Solid, steady, consistent. Got an offside call here.
Offside, 58 defense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Von Miller. So
yeah, and I think Von Miller's getting a little frustrated because the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing a little bit more of this quick passing game than what you've seen out of them in the past. This is a new addition, I think, by Todd Haley. He really wants to give his offensive linemen a few chances against these top pass rushers to go out and just cut them, be aggressive, so you don't have to block for 3, 4, 5 seconds, and it slows them down because they get frustrated.
1st down and 5. Roethlisberger is 3 for 3 in the air for 39 yards. Here's Jonathan Dwyer. Setting up 2nd and short. Bannon, playing with his 3rd team in 3 years, makes the stop.
Well, Big Mac Starks working on the outside, the left tackle. There was some question. They drafted Mike Adams out of Ohio State, whether or not he was going to be the left tackle. But one of the reasons in they sort of felt like that Starks was the better fit, at least for now, as Willie Colon, the longtime right tackle, is now playing left guard, and to have Max Starks in there and able to sort of coach Willie along for some of these early games might help him. There's Mike Adams there.
Right, they drafted offensive lineman 1 and 2, DeCastro the other, but he's on injured reserve. 2nd down and 3. Dwyer again, and Dwyer, tough running, but can't pick up the first down. As Keith Brooking comes up to make the tackle in his 15th year. Brooking out of Georgia Tech.
You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers the last few years have been so right-handed with their running game, more often than not running off that way, but now they feel like they can really pull both directions. Ramon Foster, a pretty good puller. Willie Colon learning how to do that. So they have a little more balance, they feel like, out of their running game this year.
3rd down and 2. And Roethlisberger asks for a timeout. 11.5 to go in a scoreless first half. Right there after the timeout, it's 3rd down and 2. Chris Rainey, the rookie from Florida, is the running back in this set. From the 13-yard line. And this is Brown on the outside, and he's going to pick up the first down. Antonio Brown to the 9-yard line. Brown out of Central Michigan was a 6th-round draft choice back in 2010, so he was really under the radar. And then last year, over 1,000 yards receiving. Grew up in Miami and then went to North Carolina to prep school. Return yardage over 1,000 yards, and the Steelers named him their most valuable player. Dwyer and Rainey are now both in the backfield on 1st and goal from the 9. And Roethlisberger fires over the middle. Miller will take the ball to the 2-yard line. Keith Miller has only caught about 10,000 balls over the middle in his career. 2nd and goal. There's a flag down. The Steelers are looking to get up to the line of scrimmage without a huddle. Penalty marker at the 10.
Well, another one of those quick throws, and one of the things that they really have been working on, early down throws to their tight ends and their backs. They felt like they were too focused on their wide receivers a season ago. They're trying to make that change.
Before the ball was snapped, encroachment, 99 on the defense, lined up in the neutral zone, came across, contacted a player. Replay, 1st down.
That is Vickerson.
Right here, and once you make contact, well, I don't know that he made contact before that ball was snapped, but either way, it came out about the same way. They just saved it down.
Saved it down. Would have picked up a little extra yardage on the play, but you'd rather have it 1st and goal from the 3 than 2nd and goal from the 2. Quick throw, and it's deflected and incomplete. Trying to get it to Brown on a slant, and that's Champ Bailey saying,
Yeah, Champ has seen more than a few of these. You don't go to 11 straight Pro Bowls unless you can break up a slant on the goal line. You know, that's just outstanding. The guy is remarkable, and I think what I've admired about Champ Bailey over the years, yes, he's tremendous playing the pass, but that guy will hit you. He plays the edge. He'll make tackles. He deserves his trip to the Hall of Fame when he gets it one day.
Involved in one of the biggest one-for-one trades in all of sports history. Clinton Portis and Bailey, Washington to Denver. Portis now retired, and Bailey still ticking. 2nd and goal. And the pass is out of bounds. Miller able to haul it in, but he was out of bounds. Covered by the linebacker, Brooking. And Brooking holding his hamstring as he comes off.
What a great play by Ben Roethlisberger. Watch Tracy Porter, the corner, jump this thing. I thought it was going to be a pick 6, and then they had the discipline on the back end of that to still make the play. Keith Brooking, the old veteran, smart enough to stay with Heath Miller, and he was clearly out of bounds.
And Brooking has to come out of the game. It's 3rd down and goal now. Dwyer flanks Roethlisberger in the backfield. Play clock going all the way down. And you should have a delay here. Play clock at 0 before the snap.
Timeout. Pittsburgh. That's their second shot.
Oh, and the crowd hates that, even though Ben did signal for the tee and got it. 3rd and goal when we come back. They gave Roethlisberger a timeout, but it should have been delay of the game. You take a look at this. There's the clock, 2-1-0. He calls the timeout. The back judge had already signaled delay of the game, but the referee said Ben got it off on time, got the timeout call on time. He didn't. Should have been delay. Instead, it's 3rd down and goal. And that pass is deflected and incomplete. Knocked away by Tracy Porter, who comes over from New Orleans, intended for Heath Miller, and they'll have to settle for a field goal attempt.
It's a bad throw by Ben Roethlisberger. Should have been a walk-in touchdown. Heath Miller's going to swing out wide. They're going to blow the coverage, completely drop Heath Miller. All he had to do is lob it over the top. Easy touchdown.
Now Sean Sweezum, 3rd season with the Steelers. The guy's been in the league for 8 years. Butler to hold it. Greg Warren to snap it. And the first points of the game belong to the Pittsburgh Steelers on the 21-yard field goal. 10-10 to go in the half. 3-0 Pittsburgh. At Sports Authority Field at Mile High. And ready for the kickoff here is Sean Sweezum. Will send this one past the end zone. And Manning will begin his next drive from the 20-yard line. Take a break here. Back 3-0 Pittsburgh. Notable quarterbacks first start, new team. Johnny Unitas, it looks so weird in a San Diego uniform, and he didn't play well. Then Joe Namath went to the LA Rams, and he didn't play well that day either. Joe Montana went from San Francisco to Kansas City and did play well over 2 years. And then Brett Favre went to the Jets from Green Bay and then on to Minnesota. Had a decent start. And here we go with Manning, who tonight is 4 out of 7, as is Roethlisberger. So look at that. You've got identical statistics for the 2 starting quarterbacks at this point. 3-0 Steelers on top. Manning from the 20-yard line. And over the middle, and that's a 6-yard gain as Joel Dreesen makes the catch. And one of the things with Manning and with Peyton is he want to go no huddle or not here. He does. He said in Indianapolis, by the end, though, it got to be more of a muddle than a no huddle.
Yeah, they definitely want to pick up the pace in this no huddle and maybe try and wear the Steelers down a bit.
Always a good idea. The Mile High altitude here as McGahee takes it out to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, I remember playing here on opening day one time. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Probably wasn't any warmer than it is out here tonight. I was so exhausted by the end of the game. I was lying down on the field just trying to catch my breath out there. It is definitely a factor.
Yeah, but you still caught 10 passes that day.
Attaboy.
Third and 1. And that's caught for a first down. Demaryius Thomas makes the catch. Larry Foote making the tackle.
The last time these two teams got together, Demaryius Thomas was running to the house with that overtime 80-yarder to send the Broncos on in the playoffs. And so far today, the Pittsburgh Steelers a little more conservative on the back end than what they were against Tim Tebow.
From the 35, Manning going no huddle again, and that pass to Thomas, who's able to reach back and make the catch, and then jaws with Ike Swaggin Taylor.
Ike Swaggin Taylor remembers well that he was the one that Thomas beat for that 80-yarder last year, and they have been pushing and shoving and jawing and fighting all night long on the outside. I think Ike Taylor's heard enough about that play too.
8.5 to go in the half. And Manning over the middle, and that is caught. Larry Foote making the tackle on Tammy, his former Indianapolis teammate, fifth year in the league out of Kentucky.
You know, and the other thing this does, and we talk about it all the time, but you trap defensive linemen on the field. In this day and age, they're not used to having to play 7, 8, 9 plays in a row, and all of a sudden the pass rush starts to disappear.
2nd and 6 from the 41-yard line. Off the play fake, Manning has to run away and does, and Payton's out of bounds with a first down. He ran by Timmons, got away from Lawrence, and moves the chains.
Well, one of the things that Dick LeBeau said that bugs him more than anything else about Peyton Manning are those little steps, those little moves like Tom Brady makes inside the pocket. Well, that time Peyton Manning saw Lawrence Timmons coming inside, and he made a big move to the outside.
From the 34-yard line. Oh, and Manning's going to get it away, and the pass is going to be dropped. Intended for McGahee, but it was Larry Foote who had him, and he was able to get it away before he was in the grasp. 2nd down.
Yeah, they're starting to come with some pretty clever blitzes now, taking the tackles down inside, looping the linebackers around, and, you know, even for a veteran guy like Peyton Manning, Dick LeBeau is going to surprise him from time to time. There he is. He's 75 years old today. How about that?
75-year-old Dick LeBeau. 2nd down and 10. And if the pass is caught, Decker makes the catch. And that's a first down saving tackle by Keenan Lewis. But it will be 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, they're trying to bring some pressure on the fly now. That time LeBeau called a blitz coming off Peyton Manning's left side. He just took a little step off to the right and found Decker. This is an impressive drive. This is a Peyton Manning looking drive here.
Started at the 20. Now they on an inside handoff. It's McGahee. So they have gone from their 20 to the Pittsburgh 20. First down.
Well, we've seen this one before. A little Indianapolis Colts trap that they used to run all the time. A definite blending of Peyton Manning's offense from Indianapolis and what they do here.
All no huddle on the drive. This will be the 10th play of the drive. McCoy, the offensive coordinator, calling in the plays to Manning, who throws, and it is caught, and forward progress might net the first down for Tammy. A little juggle, but right there, we'll see where they spot it. They only give him the 11-yard line. Pressure put on Manning that time, and he's a little short of the first down. 2nd and 1.
Peyton threw that ball way before Tammy came out of his break. It was just, and he actually took a little off of that throw because he threw it so early.
From the 11 on 2nd and 1. And they'll run it to the 6. It is McGahee, and it will be first down and goal.
He's using Brandon Stokely as his safety blocker over here. See him wave him on. He wants him in here because he smelled the blitz coming off the edge just to make sure he could get that handoff off.
Had the ball almost 5 minutes. 12th play of the drive coming up from the 6. Moreno. No shot, Moreno. Touchdown, Denver. How sweet was that drive? Yards, 12 plays without a huddle.
Just vintage, wasn't it?
Oof.
I mean, it was like going back in time.
Matt Prater for the extra point. And the Denver Broncos get their first touchdown of the Manning era. 5:16 left in the half. 7-3 Denver. Well, one thing the Broncos talked about is getting Peyton comfortable at the top of the game. So they got him comfortable in the huddle, but he's far more comfortable in the no huddle. And there are the numbers.
Sure looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah. 80 yards, no huddle, 7-3. Sanders is back to receive the kick. And Matt Prater with a big leg sends it 7 yards in, and Sanders is going to come out with it and get taken down at the 20-yard line. That's the Duke football, named after the patriarch of the New York Giants, Wellington Mara, for sure. Football of the NFL.
Well, they fooled around with changing it this year, didn't they?
With the laces.
Put some synthetic laces in there, and the receivers around the league said it's cutting my hands. So they went back to the old football.
Good. From the 21 on first down. Roethlisberger starts with an inside handoff and a 2-yard gain for Isaac Redmond up to the 23-yard line.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Ben Roethlisberger, a guy who comes in here and he idolized Joe Montana. He was a big fan of the 49ers. But he wears number 7 because of John Elway, and a lot of comparisons of his game to the way John Elway played. And he said that's a great honor for him.
2nd and 8. Four-man rush, a little dump off. Redmond. And Redmond will take it up to the 29-yard line. 3rd and short.
Todd Haley's going to love that play. That is the one thing, if he's been trying to change Ben Roethlisberger a little bit, is he wants him going through his progressions. In other words, know where that check down is. You don't always have to do some wild scramble if it is starting to break down. Just dump it down to the back and let him pick up 5 yards.
Changing the call before a deafening throng on 3rd and 3. They'll keep it on the ground and swing it to the outside, and getting the first down with good, tough, smart running is Redmond, tackled by Woodyard.
You know, they're actually doing a pretty good job of jamming it up inside. Watch how they jam this hole up, but the bounce out by Redmond so far in this game has been pretty good. Jonathan Dwyer had one earlier, so it's not that they're not doing their job. They're just not able to get their hands on the ball carrier.
.3:15 to the half. And Roethlisberger will slip away, extending the play as he's done a million times. I mean, this time all he can do is throw it away, and when you're out of the pocket, there's no grounding. Adams chasing him down.
Well, Von Miller knows what everybody else knows now, that it is tough to hang on to this big guy. When he is doing his thing, he ends up being able to grab him around the shoulder pads. And talking to Jack Del Rio, he said you got to treat him like he's a tight end, and uh-oh.
And this Marcus Gilbert, the right tackle, in pain. There's Gilbert, who came off under his own power, but he's on the table. Mike Adams now comes in, the rookie out of Ohio State, at 2nd down and 10 from the 33-yard line. And they hand it off to Baron Batch with a flag. With Mendenhall out tonight, they got Redmond, Dwyer, Rainey, and Batch as 4 running backs, plus the fullback, Will Johnson. And they've all seen action.
Illegal formation on the offense. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
And there is Richard Mendenhall, still rehabbing off the knee injury, which he suffered on the last day of the regular season. Sparingly used in preseason. Some question as to whether he would be able to play tonight, but he won't, obviously. And they're hoping to get him back against the Jets next week.
Watch out for the pass rush now. Here they come.
3rd and 11. But the line does a really good job, and the catch is made by Antonio Brown, who gets free for a big first down at the Denver 45-yard line. 23 yards on a 3rd and long.
Well, Mike Adams is going to get some help over here from Heath Miller, and that meant that Max Starks on the other side had to hold up one-on-one against Elvis Dumervil, and he did a fantastic job. Max Starks is what gave Ben Roethlisberger time to make that throw.
From the 44. Blitz coming, flag thrown, and Brown along the sideline. No signal yet as to whether he did or didn't, but you got a penalty back at the 50-yard line. Two ticks before the 2-minute warning.
Illegal formation. 76 was lined up improperly. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And that's the rookie Mike Adams who just came into the game.
Yeah, well, Mike Adams knew he wasn't going to get any help that time. Heath Miller released on the route, so he tried to sneak an extra step off the ball right here. And the replacement referee said, not on my watch. They're going to have to help Mike Adams, so that puts a ton of pressure on Max Starks on the other side. He has not gotten any help at all since the injury happened to Gilbert.
1st and 15. Here's Redmond. He gets bounced down after a gain of 3 by Robert Ayers. 2-minute warning comes with 1:56 left in the half. Denver 7, Pittsburgh 3 on Sunday Night Football. Second and 11 now. Fake to Dwyer, and Roethlisberger had time for a moment, then finds a wide open Brown inside the 20, and Brown out of bounds at the 18-yard line. And that's what Ben Roethlisberger has done a million times, extending that play.
And Antonio Brown fell down. His defender turned around and looked for Ben. He's still scrambling around. You know, how many times have we seen that? I don't know how to even define that, but that is what he does as a quarterback, probably better than anybody. Just keeps plays alive, and eventually the receivers uncover.
From the 18. Dwyer running him to the left again, taken down to the 16. Steelers have one timeout. Talking to Antonio Brown yesterday and talking about when Roethlisberger extends the play, we go, what do you do? He said, well, if I'm short, I have a short pattern, I go long. If I go long, I come back to him.
And what did Champ Bailey say? He said, I hate it with a passion when he does that. Yeah. So you can have perfect coverage and still give up a touchdown.
2nd and 8.
Start. 78 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's the veteran left tackle Max Starks.
Well, Max Starks knows that he's not going to have any help, so he's going to have to get off the ball quickly against Elvis Dumervil, Pro Bowl pass rusher on the outside. And it just changes your mindset. So far he's been up to the task, and really Dumervil has not been a factor. Neither is Von Miller much. No help again.
Second down and 13. Roethlisberger slings it to the outside and incomplete off the hands of Dwyer. Trailed on the play by Woodyard. 3rd and long.
Well, we have seen a lot of these quick throws, and I think due in large part now to the fact that Gilbert's out and they're having to play Mike Adams, and they don't want to sit there and wait all day for the pass rushers to get in. On the other side, Mike Adams, just by having the body outside, gives him some help.
3rd and 13. Send Wallace wide to the right, send Brown over there with him. Roethlisberger looking the other way, now looking down the middle. Now looking left again. Throws, caught at the 4-yard line, and he does it again. Sanders makes the catch, tackled there by Porter. It'll be 1st and goal.
He's getting him up, getting him ready to clock it, but you add the pump fake that Roethlisberger does to all the movement and buying time. I don't know how you defend it.
1st and goal. And Chris, we were talking about it, and here it comes to fruition again. Haley comes in as the coordinator, and people say, well, how are these two guys going to get along? Will he change them? Will they go back to more of a ground attack? And Ben says, hey, you know what? I got to be me. And that's me right there.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of Ben. But you see that pump fake, which just freezes defenders. It's remarkable that he can hold on to the ball when he slings it that hard, and then he just pulls it down and throws it the other direction.
2nd and goal. Fade is incomplete. Good coverage that time. Wallace blanketed by Porter. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, they tried Champ Bailey last time, so this time they go after Tracy Porter on the other side. And you just wonder how many of these throws Ben and Mike Wallace have had. He's only been there for a week. But this is a major upgrade at the cornerback position to get Tracy Porter, of course, the Super Bowl hero, picked off the pass against Peyton Manning to win it for the New Orleans Saints. But these two guys, pretty good pair right now.
32 seconds, 3rd and goal. Pump fake. Over the middle, wide open. Miller for the touchdown. Heath Miller, as he has done so many times in his career, just finds that open space right over the middle.
Watch this little double move. Down, in, and then back out. A little fake. Joe Mays jumps it. Pretty little clever. There's another pump fake right there. Tell you what, these guys go no huddle. They're pretty good, aren't they? Up and down the field we go.
That's a 79-yard drive, 14 plays. Sweezum's extra point makes it a 10-7 Pittsburgh lead with 28 seconds left in the opening half on opening night. Steelers on top 10-7. What's your assessment overall the opening half here?
I think this is just pregame warm-up right here. You get the feeling these two quarterbacks are settling in a little bit right now, and they're getting hot. You know, the no huddle seems to have woken up both of these offenses. It's been fun to watch for the last 10 minutes.
Like a great heavyweight fight, maybe a little feeling out process early on.
That's exactly right.
Who will deliver the knockout blow? Rookie Omar Bolden is back, and he'll have no opportunity to run that one back. So let's see what Manning has in mind here with 28 seconds, 2 timeouts.
You wouldn't imagine too much here, would you? Against the #1 ranked defense, I don't know.
Maybe take a little shot here early on.
You know, if you could get an easy completion, a screen, a draw, and you bust it out of there, then maybe, but
I would say if Pittsburgh had all of its time, it would be a different story, but you're right. They're just going to button it up right here, take a knee, and go to the locker room. And that is the way the half ends. Manning was 10 of 14 for 98 yards. Roethlisberger was 9 of 16 for 120 and a touchdown. Opening night of the Manning era. 10-7. Steelers on top, and Pittsburgh will get the ball as we start the 3rd quarter. Matt Prater to send it down toward Chris Rainey. And Ben Roethlisberger will start from the 20. Before that, let's go to Michelle.
Well, with right tackle Marcus Gilbert questionable with a left knee, rookie Mike Adams has stepped in. Mike Tomlin told me at halftime that Adams did get some work in the preseason at right tackle. He feels confident in him. They're not going to give him any help on the line. And by the way, right guard Ramon Foster is also questionable because of an eye issue. I asked Mike Tomlin if we'd see some more no huddle in the second half, and he said you could see a heck of a lot more if it looks as good as it did on that scoring drive.
I'll bet. Thank you, Michelle. There's Adams. Doug Legursky has gone over to right guard. He's the backup center to Pouncey. The drive begins at the 20-yard line with a blitz, and the pass is a little underthrown and behind Dwyer as the heat was put on by the Denver defense. 2nd down and 10.
You know, it's kind of interesting that we didn't see a lot of in that first half. And granted, there were 2 deep safeties a lot of times for the Denver Broncos. But Mike Wallace last year, the wide receiver, started the year 8 for 13 on deep balls, was just a terror. But they finished the season 0 for 8 trying to throw it deep and haven't hit one yet today or even tried one down the field.
And again, Wallace also coming off the holdout in training camp. Playing at altitude is Dwyer, runs into his own man, and then is able to plunge ahead for a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Steelers.
You know, and one of the real positives for the Denver Broncos so far is they have pretty effectively shut down the running game of the Pittsburgh Steelers. These big guys, Derek Wolfe, Ty Warren, Justin Bannon inside, have done their job. Now they've got to get off the field on 3rd and 8. This is the moment for the secondary.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, as Michelle talked about, with Tomlin saying to her at halftime, you might see more of the no huddle. You're seeing it right here, even though the play clock is going all the way down.
Single coverage on Wallace if he wants it.
And now you got Willie Colon.
74 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And that'll make it 3rd down and 12.
You know, and this is what makes it really tough, because now defensively you have a chance to bring a blitz. Then they get forced to throw one of those quick balls, you know, the hot throws and all that. You make a tackle on 3rd and 8. You don't do that. On 3rd and 12, a lot of times that's what you see defensively.
Send 4 over the middle, and the catch is made out at the 33 by Emmanuel Sanders for a 1st down.
Boy, Joe Mays has got to be saying, what was that? Number 51 running right down the middle of the field. Emmanuel Sanders, it flips him around the tightest of windows, and Ben is just having a tremendous game. Now you know why they abandoned the running game in years past.
From the 33. To the ground to Dwyer. And Dwyer out to the 39 as we take a look at Ben's first half.
Yeah, they started with a lot of quick throws to try and slow down the pass rush when the Broncos were bringing some pressure. Just get it out of his hands. And then we all know what came next. Some of the pump fakes and the scramble and the Ben being Ben, and then there were the touchdown throws. So that's what you get. You slow down the pass rush with those quick ones and gives him a chance to do his thing.
2nd down and 5. Blitz again. They pick it up. He goes to Miller. And Miller takes the ball for a 1st down to the Denver 47-yard line. Heath Miller.
Great read that time by Ben Roethlisberger. Blitz coming off to his right over here, and they're going to have to try and cover Heath from inside out, and they just can't get there. It looks easy, but when you're a quarterback, to try and figure out exactly where that blitz is coming from and where that next defender is going to come from, pretty tough. Nice play.
Blue 30. Blue 30.
The opening drive of the second half, sliding left, dumping it off underneath. It's complete, but for minimal gain, if anything. Actually a loss as Dwyer gets taken down. Let's call it no gain, line of scrimmage.
Well, Max Starks got beat on that one, but he stayed with it just long enough, and Ben was able to help him by escaping out to the outside. Here he is. You're going to see the inside move put on by Robert Ayers. Almost gets there, but then Ben Does that little slide to help his tackle out.
Again, no huddle, 2nd down and 7. 7th play of the drive coming here. You get some action up front, and now you got a whistle before the snap. You had movement with Legursky and Vickerson.
Neutral zone infraction, 99 defense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
2nd penalty on Vickerson.
The 2nd one, and they're trying to get after this offensive line. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have no depth left whatsoever. Doug Legursky's in at right guard for Ramon Foster. And of course, Mike Adams in for Marcus Gilbert. So that's it. They only dress 7. It would have to be a tight end if something were to happen from here.
There sits Gilbert on the Pittsburgh sideline. 2nd down and 5. Spread it out. 2 receivers to the left and 3 to Ben's right. And he comes to the left side. It's juggled. It's taken by Redmond. And Redmond is able to get to the 40-yard line where he's tackled by Raheem Moore. That will make it 3rd down and 3.
You know, it's one of the problems not having Rashard Mendenhall in there. When Mendenhall is coming out of the backfield with his speed, some of those catches and runs can turn into 25-yard plays. Not quite the same threat with Redmond coming out.
Mendenhall with the knee injury making the trip. Hope to have him back. The Steelers do next week. 3rd and 3. Good protection. Now it begins to break down. Now Ben's going to pack it in. He's going to dive. And he's going to come up a little bit short of the 1st down. They're going to spot it just inside the 38-yard line, which is going to make it 4th down and inches.
You know, they may give him the bounce on this one. Let's see if he was touched at all before he goes down. Do you get the bounce?
You should. Well, there's contact there. With the naked eye right now, he's a little bit short of the 1st down. Then what if you're Tomlin? He was touched before he went down, even though he was able to stumble ahead for a few yards. And
yeah, but I don't think that's what put him down, though. I think he regained his balance after that point.
Well, that's an official's call. Take a look at this. So he starts to lose his balance.
I don't think anybody touched him. You heard, you could read Mike Tomlin's lips. He was saying, let's go.
You can challenge the spot if you're Tomlin, but I don't see where they're going to move in any closer to the 37-yard line. So for the moment anyway, they're going to line up to go for it. 4th and a couple of inches.
Isaac Redmond, one of the best in the NFL at this.
And Ben is going to keep it himself. And we'll see where they spot it. Roethlisberger sliding to his left. Doomerville was there. He only needed an inch or 2. And he's clearly got the 1st down where he put the ball down. The crowd hates the spot. Yeah, his knees. I didn't see.
I'm not sure the ball ever got to the yellow
I'm not
line.
sure either. And again, that's challengeable.
He should have gotten the bounce on the prior one
by Fox.
And got a good one on this one.
From the 37-yard line.
Ball start, 74 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
A ton of those tonight. That's Cologne.
You know, you wonder if Willie Cologne might be getting a little tired in this thin air here. He hasn't played but 1 game, and that was at right tackle. And now he's asked to come over here at left guard. And believe me, I know from firsthand experience, this is a tough place on opening day. Easy to wear down.
1st and 15 from the 41. through the middle. Redmond again. Not getting anything going with that running game tonight. Again with Mendenhall out. Redmond's been the main guy, but he has carried the ball 9 times for 17 yards, so that's less than 2 yards per tote.
It's kind of interesting for me to watch Willie Colon playing left guard, pulling around on some of those power plays. It's a work in progress for him.
2nd and 12. And a sack. Chris Harris flagged down. Comes in on the blitz, and then you got, I believe, a false start against Pittsburgh.
Before the ball was snapped, false start, 84 offense. That penalty is declined.
Absolutely.
No. It was before the snap.
Yeah, before the snap.
5 yards back.
Right, they should have been whistled before the snap is what it amounts to.
So the play was supposed to have been blown dead, and it looked like a lot of the Steelers' offensive linemen on the right-hand side had sort of stopped on the play.
Right.
Like they had heard the whistle. So that's sometimes you get good penalties. That was a good penalty.
John Fox is trying to, he figures the replacement ref, I'll try to decline it even though I can't decline it.
Hey, take a shot.
Take a look at that. Since 5:16 was left in the first half, Peyton Manning has now been on the sideline for, well, about 45 or 50 minutes, counting halftime.
Even Troy Polamalu's hair is dry now. John doesn't look convinced, does he?
No.
You know, and after that 2-minute drive from Peyton Manning and the Broncos, you're thinking, oh boy, the Steelers defense is worn down, but they've been able to rest now, counting halftime for probably 45 minutes.
2nd and 17. This drive has consumed only 37 yards and has taken almost 7 minutes. And the pass is caught on a slant. And Wallace gets a big chunk of those 17 before he's tackled by Porter. That's going to make it 3rd down and short.
It's a good read by Ben again. They bring the blitz off of that side, which means that Mike Wallace had the inside slant to himself. You can see the blitz coming inside there from Raheem Moore. Ben saw it. He's doing a beautiful job reading these blitzes tonight.
3rd down and 4. Half the quarter is over. And that's another 1st down as he goes back to Wallace again. Found the open spot. Ball at the 23. 1st and 10.
You know, Tracy Porter is going to have to give him so much room. He knows who Mike Wallace is, one of the fastest receivers in the game. And, you know, you just have to back off of him. And if they're willing to throw those little dinky underneath passes to Mike Wallace, it's kind of hard to get up there. Almost may invite him to come up and play some bump and run now. He's much closer here.
The 13th play of the drive. Is Roethlisberger gunning it, and it's incomplete for Brown as Mike Adams got a hand in there. You got an Adams on each side of the field, one for Pittsburgh and one for Denver. And Adams, the veteran safety, came from Cleveland last year, breaking it up.
Boy, just fractionally behind here, but that's some play. You thought maybe if he could have let him a little bit more, but Ben took a pretty good shot just as he was releasing it. Got a lot on that throw. Nice play by Adams.
2nd down and 10.
They're rolled up on these receivers now, not going to give them the freebies.
Broncos playing press coverage, and the Steelers keep it on the ground. As this is Dwyer taking it to the 16-yard line. Cologne helped lead the way, pulling with a block. And it's going to set up a key 3rd down.
See, here's what happens when you're worried about the speed. You play your safeties back there. So if you're Ben Roethlisberger, you say, okay, fine, I'll bring big Willie Colon around, run a little power play, pick up about 7.
Manning just a spectator for almost an hour now. 3rd and 3. And Roethlisberger, they get to him, and the pass is incomplete. Von Miller came in and then knocks Ben to the grass. And in comes Sweezum.
Well, on that side, you get Elvis Dumerville, who they tried to cut on that play. It was a little bit a strange time to cut. Von Miller, who probably doesn't weigh as much as Ben Roethlisberger, was trying to get him down on the other side.
Yeah, Miller's 237. Ben's got him by a few. Here comes a 35-yard field goal attempt by Sweezum. And that one is good. So they have the ball for almost 9 minutes. We finally get to see Manning again. 6:05 left in the third. The Steelers are up by 6. And as usual, the kick into the end zone off the goalpost. Another minute or so, and Manning will go back to work. Now from the 20-yard line, Peyton Manning has not seen the football for 57 minutes. And he takes the snap from the 29-yard line. Eric Decker. He actually took one snap before the half, but it was a kneel down. So the last time he took a real snap, almost an hour ago, and Decker comes off limping. Manning going low huddle against second and inches. Matthew Willis comes in the other wideout spot, and that is caught by Thomas. Thomas gets blocking inside the 40, the 30, the 10 now. Touchdown Denver. Career touchdowns for Manning, and this one a beauty.
Peyton saw the blitz coming. He goes hot to that side. They get blockers out in front, and it is goodbye. And Demaryius Thomas is a nightmare for this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. He himself has made more big plays than the entire league did a season ago. Just beautifully called by Peyton Manning. He saw it, he took advantage of it, and the Broncos are about to go up.
Prater for the extra point. So Manning doesn't see the ball for almost an hour, and then in 36 seconds, he gives Denver the lead again. 14-13 Broncos. Very exclusive company, the 400 Club. Dan Marino threw his 400th at 37 years and a couple of months old. Favre a little before that, he was not quite 37. And Manning 36 and a half roughly. 616 days since his last touchdown pass, fewest passes of anybody in the club. So he figures to get Marino this year if he stays healthy, and then we'll see about Favre, who's over 100 away. But in 36 seconds and 2 plays, he gives Denver the lead again. And another touchback, which means Roethlisberger starts again from his 20-yard line when we come back to Denver on Sunday Night Football. Ben Roethlisberger led a 9-minute drive that culminated with a field goal. As you look at the 2 studs on the defense, Dumerville and Miller. And Denver goes 80 yards in 2 plays in 36 seconds. So that Denver D back on the field again. Roethlisberger protected well that time and slings him into traffic. And it is incomplete, intended for Antonio Brown. At the 50-yard line, Raheem Moore was there with the coverage.
Almost intercepted on that one. Coming all the way across the field. You're going to see the safety. Raheem Moore undercut this one and just miss it. It's a heck of a play. It's one thing they love about Raheem Moore. He adds so much speed to the back end of their coverage.
2nd and 10. And the pass is knocked down again. This time it is Tracy Porter on a pass intended for Emmanuel Sanders. It'll be 3rd and 10 for the Steelers.
Well, Tracy Porter is learning that just because you cover a guy for 3 or 4 seconds doesn't mean anything. Got away with a little grab there, but really had a great shot at a pick on that one.
So 2 near picks, but Pittsburgh still has the ball. It's 3rd down and 10 from the 20.
Broncos showing blitz.
Here they come on a stunt up front, and the pass is dropped.
Helmet to helmet, though.
Sanders right there, and here comes the flag. He got whacked helmet to helmet, and thus the flag comes in.
No question about it.
And Tomlin comes out to check on Sanders. Raheem Moore, helmet to helmet.
Doesn't matter, even if it's not any of those blows up around the head. Jeez, you can see why the league's trying to eliminate him. Either one of them could have been hurt badly.
Incomplete. Automatic 1st down.
So you miss 2 interceptions that you have great shots for, and then a helmet to helmet. And all of a sudden the drive that would have ended is still alive.
So they're going to march it off. It's a 15-yard penalty. Took it back to the 20. I mean, it's pretty simple. The nose of the ball was at the 20 and move it to the 35. Crowd booing. I think a lot of them thought it was pass interference that was called. It wasn't.
You have more experience refereeing than they do down there.
Beginning to look like it. At the 35. And Ben dumps it into traffic. And that's Chris Rainey making the catch. Tackled by Vickerson. So Rainey seeing his first action ever tonight, obviously 5th round draft choice out of the University of Florida, and a guy who can not only make his mark out of the backfield with big plays, but a great special teams performer, and a guy who's a kick blocker supreme.
If he ever gets in the open field, you'll see a little magic there too. Big play threat on any given play.
2nd and 11. And Ben's going to go down. They ran right by Legursky. That Joe Mays and Chris Harris coming in with a mile-high salute, made famous by Terrell Davis.
Yeah, they're getting some pressure right over here with this Chris Harris blitz off the side, in addition to what's happening up the middle of the field. Doug Legursky trying to hang on, and boy, they really think highly of Joe Mays, don't they? They're talking about when he hits you, you know you've been hit, and that was a big one.
Look for over Mike Tomlin's shoulder. Each team with a pair of sacks tonight. 3rd down and 18 from the 27. And Roethlisberger throws, and that's going to be a big 1st down to Heath Miller to the 50-yard line. So when in doubt, he goes to that security blanket. He's done it for years. 23 yards.
Out and up move, and he is tearing up these linebackers. This time it's Wesley Woodyard who bit on the fake. There was no reason to bite on the fake. If he had caught that out, would have been no problem. And Max Starks inside fighting for his life, but got it done.
All right, let him catch the out, so he gains 8 or 9 yards. It's still 4th down. Instead, a 1st down, gain of 23. Now they give it to Dwyer. Around the corner he goes, and that's going to be a personal foul because it looked like Boomerville grabbed him by the face mask. 7 penalties tonight against Pittsburgh, 4 against Denver, and a number of others have been declined.
Personal foul, face mask, the defense 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Yeah, the Broncos got away with a face mask on the prior drive against Ben Roethlisberger, but this one's pretty easy to see. And now you have to start to wonder, is Denver's defense, despite the fact that they live and work here, starting to wear down just a little bit? They've been out there forever.
Especially so on opening day, and as you can see, the time of possession is 2-1 in favor of the Steelers. Pittsburgh has run 54 plays, and Denver has run only 32. Personal foul will move the ball to the 32-yard line, and this will be the 8th play of this drive. So Pittsburgh in this half has had the ball for 23 plays, and Denver 2. Shoulder shake. Dwyer then makes the catch. Good tough running, staying in bounds, adding the extra yardage, and he might have a first down by getting to the 22-yard line.
Leading rusher in preseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You just get the feeling that Jonathan Dwyer is desperate for the opportunity to get a chance to play. Tracy Porter, not known as a very good tackler, showed you exactly why there. Good fight, though, by Jonathan Dwyer.
They turned a 5 or 6 yard gain into an 11-yard gain and a first down. Redmond back in as the running back. Play action over the middle and incomplete. That was Jericho Cotchery, first time he's been targeted tonight. The intended receiver, and Ben says, I missed you. It's on me. Second down.
Yeah, but Ben didn't take a shot that time because Isaac Redmond is going to save his quarterback off of that play fake. So many times those running backs don't see that blitzer. Redmond, a nice pickup there. You don't get the completion, but you save your quarterback a shot.
2 minutes to play in the quarter. To the ground again on second and long. To the 19-yard line goes Isaac Redmond. Again, really no semblance of a rushing attack, though Dwyer's had a couple of decent runs. Redmond, 10 carries, 21 yards. Haley calling the play in. 3rd and 7. Jack Del Rio calling the defense. Been great on 3rd down tonight. Good protection. And again, it's Miller. And again, it's a huge 3rd down conversion for him. To the 11-yard line goes Heath Miller.
You're just running some little crossing routes over the middle, and Heath Miller coming out of the wide side of that bunch formation, helping on Doomerville. And then as the crisscross happens, Heath Miller able to make the catch and pick up another first down. Good protection again.
4 catches, 50 yards for Miller tonight, and Pittsburgh's only touchdown. Final minute of the quarter. On the ground inside, Dwyer will break it to the outside, and Dwyer will leap in for the touchdown. Mike Adams could not corral him, and Dwyer takes it into the end zone, and Pittsburgh is back on top.
It's amazing how many times today that the Broncos have had this thing locked up inside, and then the backs of the Steelers just bounce it out and around, and there's nobody there to have the contain. That time Mike Adams in position, but Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning there starting to look a little unstoppable.
Well, look at that knee. The knee looks down. This gets reviewed upstairs. Remember, all scoring plays get reviewed, and when they see this, this should come back.
The previous play
So it's very clear that it's under review, and it's going to wind up back at the 2-yard line. So for the moment, Denver still has the lead. This won't be a touchdown. It's going to be probably 2nd and 1 at the 2.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The runner's knee is down. The ball is at the 2-yard line. 2nd down.
Well, the crowd lets out a big cheer. That's the good news. The bad news is it's 2nd down and 1 at the 2-yard line.
Contact brings him down. Knee down there. Ball at the 2-yard line.
And with 24 seconds now to go in the 3rd quarter. And they're going to wind the clock so they don't have to run a play. And Ben, that's exactly what they're talking about right now. Because the play clock would go to 25, the game clock's at 24. You're going to wind it here, and Ben is basically saying, I'm not going to run it into this end zone. I'm going to take it all the way the other way. So in the quarter, the Broncos had the ball for 36 seconds. We're going to go to the 4th quarter in Denver. The Broncos are on top. A light moment between Roethlisberger and Bailey. 14-13 Broncos. Sunday Night Football resumes after this. (14-13) Denver on top. But look at those statistics for the 3rd quarter. 36 seconds. Denver's had the ball 27 plays to 2. The touchdown was just reversed, but it's 2nd down and 1 from the 2-yard line as we start the final quarter. Chris Rainey is the tailback. They give it to the upback, who's Redmond, and he gets stood up behind the line of scrimmage. That's Von Miller, and that's going to make it 3rd down and a couple.
And Mike Adams got beat across his face on that one. Just couldn't quite get the inside gap right here. Tried to reach there and just was no way. Kevin Vickerson got in there and made the play on Redmond.
Third and 2. Redmond is the back. Miller going to the corner, and the pass goes to Wallace for the touchdown. They had Wallace outside. They had Miller going to the corner of the end zone, and Pittsburgh does get its touchdown. That was reversed on the call to take the lead again, 19-14, and now they go for 2.
What a throw by Ben. Back shoulder on a slant. Tracy Porter could not have covered that any better. It was just absolutely perfectly executed by Ben Roethlisberger. That was the only spot he gets a completion on that one.
As I say, go for 2 here to make it a 7-point lead. Sanders flanks wide to the left. Three receivers set to the right. And looking that way and throwing, and that was batted. That's incomplete. Tried to get it to Pope.
Like Justin Bannon maybe got it.
Yep. Tipped away to make it a 5-point game. Pittsburgh on top. Manning's been biding his time for about an hour and 20, apart from the 2 plays he was involved in, one of which resulted in a go-ahead touchdown. And then Denver will finally get the ball again at the 20-yard line. From the shotgun on 1st down. Here goes Willis McGahee for a gain of 9. Think about the NFL and today. I mean, just the wild endings all over the place. Philadelphia over Cleveland, Detroit over St. Louis, 49ers knocking off Green Bay. It never ceases. Minnesota somehow wrangling one from Jacksonville.
Are you predicting something here?
Another great one.
Yeah, looks like it, huh?
McGahee up to the 40-yard line on the 2nd and 1. He gets 11 yards and a first down.
You know, when Troy Polamalu is playing the deep free safety, I think that Peyton Manning feels a little more secure in calling some of these run plays, so you don't get that X factor down around the line of scrimmage. Now it looks like they're going to flip-flop back there and bring Polamalu back down in the action.
Polamalu now covering the slot receiver. Manning looks to the outside. Here's Thomas. Taylor misses him, and then Polamalu wraps him down or knocks him down with an arm tackle at the 50-yard line.
Remember the stiff arm that Marius Thomas put on Ike Taylor for the game winner in overtime? This guy is 6'3", 235 pounds. Even Troy Polamalu having a little trouble wrestling him down.
And that'll move the chains again as Noshawn Moreno takes it to the 48-yard line.
Well, again, you see Troy Polamalu playing back here deep, and so Peyton deciding that's a good time to run it again. As an offensive player, the more he is 15 yards away from the ball, the happier I am.
And they hit Decker. And Eric Decker, the third-year wide receiver out of Minnesota, to the 43-yard line. He was their leading receiver last year. Of course, a team that loved to run with Tebow at quarterback. 2nd and 4. Manning not letting the defense rest. And that's caught at the 31-yard line by Matthew Willis and a first down.
Well, any questions you have about Peyton Manning's arm, you can just put them in your hip pocket now. Watch this throw. All the way across the field, far hash. Drops it in there beautifully, and he has not been stopped since they've gone to the no-huddle. This has been near perfection.
15 of 19 on the night, 206 yards. Looking like vintage Manning throwing, and that one's a little high and tipped and incomplete. Trying to get it into Eric Decker.
Keenan Lewis on the coverage there. There was definitely a little pushing and shoving, but I have to say I thought that was a pretty good no call, at least at first glance. Man coverage for Lewis.
I didn't look at second glance.
Well, still, I wouldn't call it anything. Getting soft.
2nd and 10. And Manning slings it to the outside, and that is caught, and getting up and trying to get the first down is Jacob Tamme, and he does. So Tamme was about a yard shy, was able to get up and pick up the 2 extra yards to move the chains.
Well, Peyton Manning didn't even step into that throw. His feet were pointed up the field, and he sort of did the sidearm slingshot out there on that one. And Jacob Tamme is remembering his old pal from Indianapolis.
Inside fake on first down. Hits his receiver at the 5, and this is Decker taking the ball to the 1, and he's down there. The play was whistled dead at the 1-yard line for a 1st and goal. And Manning says, let's keep it up. Let's not let him change.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was down on this play. Let's take a look. Close.
But Manning wants to get the play off before there's any possibility of a challenge, and it winds up as a no touchdown call. Just short of the goal line. You saw what Manning was doing. Tomlin wanted a challenge. There's the flag, but once a play was run, the next play was run, you cannot challenge it. You can't go back. And Tomlin's going to try to say that he wanted the challenge beforehand. Now you're going to have a real brouhaha here. When was the challenge flag thrown? Here it comes. There it goes. Just at about the time the ball was snapped. And did any officials see it?
Wouldn't matter. His knee was down anyway. It's not going to matter. Except for the fact that it would cost Pittsburgh a timeout.
Right.
Which may matter.
And a challenge.
He reached.
Prior to the ball being snapped, Pittsburgh is challenging the prior play, there was no play.
And of course, you hear the Broncos all saying they ran a play. Well, in any event, the place it's going to stand at the 1 yard line when we come back after all this puzzle ride. We think Tomlin talked himself into a challenge, but this is still not going to come up Pittsburgh's way after all this. It's going to cost them a timeout and one of their 2 challenges, because Decker's knee is down as he has possession of the ball. And the way we see it, they'll spot the ball at the 1 yard line, 1st and goal.
Yeah, and they get first down back because they didn't score the touchdown, so it would have been 2nd down. So there's really no positive that comes out of this for Pittsburgh.
Here comes the flag. Remember, you'll see the flag coming in. There was the snap simultaneous. The official has to see the flag before the snap.
Now there is the possibility that another official, not the referee, saw the flag before the snap, and then they get together and say, yes, I did see him throw the flag first.
Oh, sure.
I'm just making it up.
Here comes the call.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Pittsburgh will be charged a timeout, be first down on the 1 yard line.
So it all turns out in Denver's favor. And John Fox, of course, who was livid, saying, how can he make that call after the fact? Winds up as the beneficiary in every way.
And now, because Pittsburgh went for the 2-point conversion on the other end, if the Broncos score a touchdown, they'll go for 2 and try and stretch this thing to 3. So a lot of give and take here.
Good stuff. 9:34 remaining in regulation. This is a 4.5-minute drive that started back at the 20 after a touchback. 3 rushes and 5 pass plays on this drive. And Manning's going to set up initially in the gun with McGahee right there. But first things first.
And the Steelers have really sort of shown they're going to play bump and run man-to-man coverage. And Peyton had time to go walk out and say something to his wideouts.
Manning rolling left and throwing. Touchdown. Jacob Tamme, his old Colt teammate.
Let's see if he controls this ball going to the ground. Is it over the line of scrimmage and he's down? I think he does control it all the way.
Yep, right there. Over the plane.
Bottom hits the ground, and that looks like a touchdown. But the pre-snap was interesting. Peyton Manning was standing at the line of scrimmage, and the defense was already set for Pittsburgh. I think he came out and changed the play. He saw the bump and run man-to-man, ran the pick play over here, and got the touchdown.
Brings all of his wiles from Indianapolis with him.
Yes, sir.
Going for 2 to try to make it a 3-point game. With time. Moving forward, and then it is caught for the conversion. McGahee broke the plane of the goal line, and Manning brings him back again. 9:23 left in regulation. On a wild opening night in Denver. Back and forth we go. Denver with a lead by 3. And Prater sends this one 9 yards in, and Rainey thought about it, wanted to do it, was told not to. Back to the touchdown we go.
Yeah, they were all sitting around waiting for the referee to signal the ball ready, but the defense had set itself. The offense did, so Peyton said, look, we're going to run the little pick play over here. He changed the play before the referee even signaled the ball ready for play. Now you can see the referee come in, but the look he got was good enough, so he does the sprint out that way. Easy touchdown. Peyton taking advantage of every opportunity, including a slow mark of the ball.
Now Roethlisberger from the 20. Rainey is the running back. Toss to him. Comes back the other way. And Rainey turns it into a 7-yard gain as he begins this drive by taking it to the 27-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
That was a deliberate play. Marquise Pouncey, the center, started to his right and then's going to circle back around this way. They're going to try and take advantage of Chris Rainey's speed to the outside. Picked up 7.
Inside 9 minutes to play. Three-man rush. 8 back. Going deep. Broken up. Tracy Porter with Mike Wallace down the sideline. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
One of the rare times now that they have come with a single safety. This is straight one-on-one coverage, and Tracy Porter just earned whatever it was they were paying him. That's one of the toughest assignments in the NFL, and he played that beautifully.
Came over from the Saints as a free agent in the offseason. 3rd and 3. Bailey on Wallace this time. Now Brown comes to the right side as well.
They blew the coverage.
And Ben slings it over the middle, and that is broken up by Tracy Porter. Despite blowing the coverage, it's 4th down.
They mix up over here, and they don't cover Mike Wallace running down the middle of the field. They've got him for a touchdown. Ben never saw it. They messed up the switch off, had the freebie, and just missed it.
Now the first punt of the half. Butler's punt fielded at the 28-yard line. This is Jim Leonard bringing it back out to the 38-yard line. So Denver with a 3-point lead and the football. 8:18 to go. Back we come to the 37, and it's interesting to see what Denver's going to do on this drive in terms of huddle or no huddle. Here's McGahee. They've had so much success tonight running the typical Manning no huddle. All of their scoring coming off of that, but now at this particular point, you want to begin to use the clock, so maybe it's like it used to be in Indianapolis. They'll go up to the line, but he'll let a lot of the play clock expire. We'll see.
I don't know. They've been burying him with this no huddle. He may not want to take his foot off their throat.
2nd and 5, and this time it'll be a 3rd and 2 as McGahee gets taken down by Timmons up at the 45-yard line.
It's kind of interesting to me, and I know it hasn't been every time, but it seems like every time Troy Polamalu has been back, Peyton Manning has checked to a run. He's back again.
3rd and 2. And now they hand the ball off, and that's going to be a 1st down with a shoe coming loose by Moreno. No Sean Moreno, the backup, loses his shoe but picks up the 1st down. To the 48-yard line, and Lance Ball, the number 3 back, now comes in, flanking Manning in the gun, ticking down to 7 minutes.
Polamalu, middle of the field.
And they give it to Ball with a big hole through the middle, and that's going to result in a 1st down. Contingent on the spot as Allen and Polamalu make the tackle.
You know, you just lose that X factor in the middle of the field, and you know, he plays like a linebacker. He slices through. He's where you don't expect him to be, and now he's making tackles 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. Now he's coming up.
From the 41-yard line.
See if he throws it off to the right side away from Polamalu here. Oh, here comes Polamalu on a blitz, though.
And here comes Thomas in to take care of him in case he does. And the handoff going again to Lance Ball, fourth-year back out of Maryland. Ran for over 400 yards last year in a reserve role.
Al, I'm going to give you your analyst hat. That's exactly what happened. Polamalu was showing blitz, so Demaryius Thomas comes down so that he can't. He's going to come shuffling down here to make sure Polamalu doesn't get there.
Second down and 8. McGahee back in the game. Manning slinging it to the outside and getting free for a first down is Jacob Tamme to the 20-yard line.
Boy, you just can't beat him. You come up and bump and run. He's going to check to the pick play, come down this time, hit the wheel, up the sideline to Jacob Tamme. Just no way for Cortez Allen to stay with it. He knew exactly where it was. He just looked off the safety and bingo.
Now at the 20 on first down. Peyton only 5 incomplete passes tonight.
Still Larry Flick changing his call.
And swinging to the outside and getting back to the line of scrimmage is McGahee as he takes it to the 20-yard line, ticking down to 5 minutes to play in regulation.
Well, I don't know how Peyton's neck's doing, but his brain's doing fine.
Yes,
he is picking this defense apart.
Now he comes under center on second down and 10.
Well, you got him to show the blitz.
Yep.
Polamalu switches with Monday, I think it is, in the middle of the field. Now they're going to switch back.
And use a lot of time off the play clock.
Which is just fine.
Off the game clock. Right, just what he wants to do. Perfectly executed, at least to that point. And to this point as well, as McGahee with some tough running takes it to the 11-yard line to make it third down and 1. Tackled there by Worrells with 4.5 to play.
Pretty nice job on the outside. I think that was Eric Decker that came down and sealed it. When you put on the tape of these Denver Broncos, these wideouts block.
Third down.
Oh, Polamalu was running right for the center for one of those dive-over kind of plays. And Peyton saw him and said, he backed out of there.
Too smart for that. Here he comes again.
Yeah, he's going to back out again. Get a timeout, I think, here. He didn't like any of that.
Yep. Big play coming up, and he takes the timeout here with 3:56. Has he really been away a year? Doesn't seem like it.
Peyton Manning was under center, and he was watching number 43 almost exclusively on that one. There's Polamalu here. You see him coming down, hair bobbing, and Peyton said, oh, hold on. And then Polamalu decided he's going to back off. Now he's going to come over from this side. He didn't like that one either. Third down and 2. Field goal not enough here. You don't want Ben to be able to win it with a touchdown going the other way.
3:55 each team. 2 timeouts. Third and 2. Here comes Polamalu again. Now Tamme comes inside to take care of that, and you have a whistle before the snap.
I think got a delay.
Delay. 18 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That hurts off a timeout, but it was the idea that Jacob Tamme was going to have to come down and handle Troy Polamalu. Here we go right here. He's coming down to help. The clock goes to 0. Good call by the official. So Polamalu, even though he hasn't made a play, they haven't snapped the ball. He just cost the Broncos 5 yards.
Created that, makes it third down and 7.
There he comes.
From the corner, they pick it up, and the pass is with a flag thrown incomplete, intended for Decker. Keenan Lewis with him stride for stride.
Well, Eric Decker made just enough of a move back to the ball.
Pass interference, 23 defense. Spot foul, First down.
You can get this call every time as a receiver if you show an effort to go back to the ball. Watch at the top of your screen. There, the hands on. He tried to get back. The official determined that he had enough of a push and a little grab, and that is a humongous call in this game. Tough, close call.
Two-way push from the 8. First and goal. And they stand up McGahee as he takes the ball to the 7-yard line. Now the Steelers have to begin to think about taking a timeout, but more importantly, they've got to stop him here and hold him to a field goal. That's what it amounts to. And they're minus a timeout as we go toward the end of this game because of that challenge that didn't work earlier. Second and goal. Play action. Too high. Stokely in the back of the end zone, covered well, setting up a 3rd and goal.
Well, he tries to go to Stokely there, and you've got to think, anytime we've gotten the one-on-one situations, it's been Stokely he's been looking for. Dick LeBeau on his 75th birthday would like nothing better to put Peyton on his back right here.
Stokely slot left, Thomas wide left, Decker wide to the right.
No blitz showing.
Polamalu back of the goal line.
More of a zone read now for Peyton.
To the outside he goes, and that's incomplete. Try to work the back shoulder of Eric Decker. Lewis covering on the play, and they will have to settle for a field goal, and it will still be a 1-possession game.
Oh boy, both of these, Keenan Lewis doing everything he can to fight for it. No call there, no way, and that is the correct call. Just two guys battling for the football, and that is huge defensively because now Ben Roethlisberger will have a chance to win it.
Matt Prater for a 26-yard field goal. And that will make the score 25-19 with exactly 3 minutes to go. Well, we've had a lot of stuff tonight, obviously, with Manning looking like Manning on his way back. And a lot of credit go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, you're playing a game without Ryan Clark. You're playing a game without James Harrison. You're playing a game without Rashard Mendenhall. You're playing a game where your offensive line is banged up and mixing and mashing. Pretty good.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Peyton Manning, it's almost a bit of a miracle he's here. 4 procedures on his neck. He said he begged doctors to tell him, you can't play anymore. You're in more danger than what you would have been otherwise. And yet he said, none of them ever said that to me, so I'm playing. Take you back to when he was with Indy, throwing that thing just under 50 miles an hour tonight. Same kind of throw. Maybe a couple of miles an hour off the fastball, but I think they can live with it here in the Mile High City.
Yep. Went to a slider.
Yeah. And he said, you know, every day I go to rehab. So I understand I'm still a work in progress at this point. I am not a finished product, but the product looked pretty sharp tonight.
I don't think Manning is the kind of guy who would ever say he was a finished product.
Pretty good point.
Yeah.
Pretty good point.
Always learning, always something new. Nobody works harder as a coach on the field. We're about the 11 millionth person to tell you that, but it's true. And 9 yards in, Rainey wants to come out.
He wanted the NFL record.
Oh, yeah. He tried to come out before.
Touched out of bounds. The ball, that is a touchback.
Yeah, his foot was actually on the back line. Couldn't have brought it out anyway. He was looking for a Cromartie run back. Well, pretty close.
Yeah, just that little half step. But here we go. You can't ask for anything more than this. You got a chance to see one of these in the Super Bowl once, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Against Arizona. Todd Haley saw it too, but now he's calling the plays with Ben. Ton of time. 3 minutes. They've got 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning and a low snap. And Roethlisberger moving forward throws, hits Brown, and that's a 19-yard gain. And once again, Ben turning junk into a jewel. First down.
It's just remarkable that he can take a snap off the ground, pick it up, find the coverage, find the receivers, and make this kind of throw. It's remarkable.
And we have an injured Bronco.
And a little helmet-to-helmet hit, but at that point, I don't believe he's defenseless. Now he's sort of in a running position, and so I think that's a good no call there.
And it's Chris Harris, who is down on the ground but up now, sitting up. Flexing, says I'm okay. And of course has to come out for at least one play.
Yeah, and he is their nickel guy, so that does, in this sort of 2-minute situation, if he can't go back in, they take the next step down the ladder. Boy, there is so much speed on the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. These receivers, so talented. Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace.
Just saw Tony Carter coming in to take Harris's spot. Jim Leonard is also in the game, the veteran safety. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Three-man rush, 8 back. And Ben will throw that one incomplete in the direction of Sanders, and you went right for Tony Carter's man at that point. 2nd down and 10.
How does he do that and not have the ball fly out of his hand with that pump fake? I mean, it really just looks like, as a defensive player, this looks like a pass, not that.
Yeah.
There's one little pump. Here comes a big pump. It's amazing. His hand is humongous.
Chris Harris comes back in the game now. Now it's just for the one play. 2nd down and 10. Bottom of the screen. Bailey playing press coverage on Wallace. Not letting him get the release after Ben looks that way. Comes back to the left and is intercepted. Picked off and running into the end zone for a touchdown. Tracy Porter.
Where have we seen that before?
Tracy Porter, who locked up the Super Bowl for New Orleans with a pick of Manning, may have locked this one up with a pick of Roethlisberger.
What a game for Tracy Porter tonight. Little inside release, didn't like it. Arrows back outside. You can see Porter looking back at Roethlisberger, and there he goes. And somewhere Peyton Manning is saying, "See, Ben, got me too." Go for 2 here, right?
You do. You want to make it 14. It's 12 right now. Manning saying, "Oh, we're going to put the ball down. We're going to go for 2 after a 43-yard return."
And boy, let the expectations go up in Denver. They were sky high anyway. But after beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's going to be a lot of Super Bowl talk around here.
Takes us to the 2-minute warning with 1:58 left on opening night in Denver. 31-19. We're back for the conversion here. The officials mistakenly called for the 2-minute warning. Even though the clock is 1:58, you had a scoring play, which of course gets reviewed. There was no question about whether it was a touchdown or not. But you have to do the conversion before the 2-minute warning, even at 1:58. So a blown call. What else is there? So here's your 2-point conversion with McGahee in the backfield. Manning sending his 3 studs out wide to the left. Polamalu is going to come in and get blocked, but they keep it on the ground and they keep McGahee out of the end zone. That's Larry Foote. So they've already taken the 2-minute warning, and we have 1:58 to play.
Ben Roethlisberger, you're going to be able to see he's going to look to his left and get a good view. There was no doubt in his mind what was going on. He saw Tracy Porter there and just tried to squeeze one in that he really didn't have to do, but you can't say he threw it blindly. He was staring right at it the whole time. Just thought that he could thread it in there, and obviously big mistake.
So Pittsburgh needing 2 touchdowns, down by 12.
Boy, what a difference Tracy Porter makes. You know, you have Champ Bailey on your team, so the other guy is going to get a lot of throws over that way, and Tracy Porter tonight making them think maybe you ought to throw back over to Champ Bailey's side.
Bailey telling us the other day, he said, I told my defensive lineman, look, you guys stop the run. We will take care of the pass. Trust me.
And they did. You know, it was a pretty good job. Not complete stoppage of the run, but a much better job by the Broncos defensive front 7 than what we saw a season ago.
Well, the Steelers are averaging less than 3 yards per rush tonight, and that'll win you a lot of ball games if you're the defense.
Yep. I'll tell you, though, you got to give some credit to the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The pressure really has not been a major factor. Elvis Dumervil, Von Miller, they've not gotten there. And this is a banged-up line that played with their final 5 guys available for much of the game.
Only 2 linemen with their hands on the ground. And they're going to rush 5, and they're going to get to him and spin him down. Speaking of Von Miller, there he is.
Well, they put the tight end that way, but Mike Adams underestimating the quickness of Von Miller off the edge and just couldn't get there. Miller ducks underneath and finally gets to Ben Roethlisberger.
So 2nd down and 15 from the 15-yard line. Again, only 3 this time. Sanders makes the catch. It'll be 3rd down and about 5 from the 25-yard line. 1:15 left in reg. Denver going to Atlanta for their next game next Monday. Jets go into Pittsburgh. Under a minute now. And Ben's going to go down at the 15-yard line with Miller there again. Miller just did a Tebow.
Bringing everybody off the edge. He's going to go back inside and get the sack. Doug Legursky kind of got lost on that one. We get a Tebow out of this one?
Oh, we do. Of course we do.
All right. Little tribute to the guy that won him a playoff game over Pittsburgh last year.
Well, we've had the Mile High Salute and a Tebow tonight.
Yeah, what was the stat, though, that Tim Tebow was the first quarterback to ever win a playoff game in his first or second year and then move to another team?
Right. Well, he completed only 10 passes last year in that game for over 300 yards. There are the numbers tonight. Each guy throwing 2 touchdowns, but Roethlisberger throwing that huge interception that pretty much salts it away.
Now, how about Peyton Manning coming back after almost 2 years away against the #1 ranked defense and putting up a 129 quarterback rating?
Yep.
Come on. Can't do that.
And looking for all the world like Peyton Manning.
As soon as they let him go, let him start doing a little no huddle.
On every level. And they're going to wrap him up now with another sack. This is Woodyard. So 3 sacks to end Pittsburgh's night. And now a kneel down for Denver will do it. And John Fox will have a big opening night win.
Wesley Woodyard was just sort of spying Ben Roethlisberger here. Really, he was just waiting, and then all of a sudden he came out and started to run, and Woodyard ends up with a sack. Well, it's just hard to put into words what Peyton Manning must be feeling after all the rehab, after 4 procedures on his neck, after a lot of people wondering whether or not he should retire. What else did he have? He had the Super Bowl ring, he had the 4 MVPs, but it wasn't enough. John Elway telling me that when Peyton Manning first got here, he was 2 days after getting released by the Indianapolis Colts, and he was so stunned that he couldn't even talk to him yet about coming to the Broncos that he just emotionally wasn't at that point. But boy, what a job Elway did to sell him.
After running one more snap, it's like going to a new school. Hey, Mom, hey, Dad, I got all these new friends. I'm a little nervous. He's the most popular kid in class right now.
Unbelievable. What a performance.
Well, he answered a lot of questions tonight. I don't know what the rest of the year is going to bring. Who knows? But people wondering, was he healthy? Could he do it? Would he look the same? What's going on? What if he takes a hit? All this stuff. Well, for one night anyway, all A's in his new environment.